Sup team, welcome to the video. Today we are going to be talking about the importance of hitting your protein targets. Now, this is a continued issue for a lot of people. It's very difficult, especially for us ladies, especially for us vegetarians, to hit our protein targets. But that doesn't mean that we should use it as an excuse to just ignore our protein. Hitting our protein targets is probably the most important thing that we should try to focus on, especially when we are trying to lose weight. So when we are trying to lose weight, typically what we are trying to do is actually lose fat. Now, it's important to understand that when we are changing our body mass, there are a bunch of different components that we have to consider. We don't just have fat mass on our body, we have a bunch of different solid tissues that make up our overall body mass. These solid tissues include muscle, organs, fat, and bones. All of these things affect our total body mass. When it comes to losing weight, it's not as simple as just eating less and moving more. Because without overcomplicating things too much, as you start to eat less, your body actually starts to fight against you and you start to burn less. So because of this, considering the quality of the foods that you are consuming is going to be very important. And this is where protein comes into play. Protein and eating enough of it is actually going to have the biggest impact on your fat loss goals. So why does protein matter? Protein, it actually has the highest thermic effect of food out of the three macronutrients: protein, carbs, and fats. So the thermic effect of food is the amount that you burn during digestion. So approximately the thermic effect of food when it comes to protein is 25%, whereas fats, it's approximately 2 to 3%, and carbs, it's approximately 6 to 8%. So without going into the complete physiology of how all of this works, essentially, if you eat less protein, you're actually making it harder on yourself to lose weight. Now, you might not see that initially if all you've been focusing on is eating less food, moving more, and you're not really paying attention to your protein targets. And you might be thinking in the beginning, you're dropping a bunch of weight. But keep in mind, like I previously discussed, our overall body mass is made up of different solid tissues, fat mass being just one of them. Even though you are seeing an initial drop in the scale in the beginning, that doesn't always mean that it is actual fat that is being lost. So keep in mind that approximately 45 to 65% of your weight is made up of water, and your muscles are actually about 75% of that water. And then overall, your protein, it actually makes up about 20% of your body's mass. So this initial drop that you are seeing may actually just be a drop in water, and maybe even a little bit of muscle mass, which is what we don't want, versus actual fat mass, which is what we do want. So overall, protein is a crucial component when it comes to your fat loss goals. It's also very important to consider when it comes to your hormones, your enzymes, your hair, your nails, and your blood. So regardless of your goals, if you don't want to get super jacked, if you don't want to build a bunch of muscle, if you just want to lose a little bit of weight, if you just want to maintain weight, if you're just happy with where you are, or if you do want to add muscle, regardless of your goals, we need protein. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you guys some of my go-to protein options. Like I said, I am a vegetarian. I'm actually almost vegan. The only little bit of dairy that I have left is just whey protein. I do have soy protein, but the majority of the time I will have my whey protein. Once in a while I have soy, but some of the other options here are some of Kyle's go-to options because he still has quite a bit of dairy. But for anyone else out there who aren't vegan, aren't vegetarian, protein should be relatively easier for you. I get it, and I appreciate that it's still a bit of a struggle, but at the same time, you have a lot of really great options for you to make sure that you are getting an adequate amount of protein. So on top of what you're already consuming, here are some things that I consume that I recommend, something that will maybe help some of you guys out. Okay, so first off, what I typically do is I will have, in the morning, I mix up some water and protein powder. So I just have one of these little shaker cups right here, and then I will mix in about a half a scoop of PES Select Gourmet Vanilla Protein Powder. When it comes to protein powder, I actually, and I'll show you guys in a little bit here, I actually don't go by scoops. I will weigh it out per gram, and that allows me to be much more accurate with that. So I couple my milk, my makeshift milk there, with high protein cereal. I get the Special K high protein honey almond cereal, this guy right here. In a serving, which is 56 grams, there is 14 grams of protein. So that's the biggest thing, is when you have your carb sources, I always try to opt for higher protein options. As much as I would like maybe some Frosted Flakes or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, opt out for some higher protein cereal instead. And then when I come home from my workout, I have a kiwi, and then I will actually have some more protein powder. I try to make sure that I space my protein out evenly throughout the day, making sure that I do get a significant amount pre and post workout. And then with those amounts that I'm having pre or post workout, I like to make sure that they are pretty high in leucine. So because I don't eat meat, it's very difficult to get an adequate amount of leucine, hence why I am still consuming whey protein. So that is why I actually have protein powder before my workout and after my workout, because they're both really high in leucine. So because the PES Select is pretty yummy, pretty delicious, it's a nice little treat. When I come home, I actually have Gold Standard whey protein. It is a better profile when it comes to the amino acid breakdown. If any of that's really confusing to you guys, I can talk about amino acids in a different video. But anyway, so I will have this guy right here. I weigh out maybe about 33, 35 grams of this. And because it doesn't taste very good, sorry Optimum, flavor doesn't taste the greatest, but it's a very good protein source. I will actually mix it up in a light shot of water. You guys can't see it, but there's like a shot of water in there. And because it's an isolate, it shakes up really easily in here. So literally I have this much water with like 33 grams of protein, shot of water. There's your post-workout shake. And then some other options that I don't normally have like on a day-to-day basis. I'm just giving you guys some different ideas. Next we have are some kidney beans. These are amazing, really high in protein, and I really like them. You know, you can make them up in a chili, or you can do like a stir fry, you know, pretty easy. 1 cup is about 13 grams. It is higher in carbs, 34 grams of carbs in 1 cup, but I mean, if your calories aren't super low, these are a really great option. 13 grams of protein. Kodiak cakes. If you guys don't know what Kodiak cakes, you are missing out on life. Protein pancakes or waffles, whatever your jam is. I get this from Costco. In a serving, you're looking at 14 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, so it's a really great meal. I normally have 2 servings, so that's 30 grams of protein in 2 servings, which is great. Ooh, okay. I'll save that one for last, actually. Next, I get protein pasta. Like I said, all of my carb sources, I always opt for higher protein options. Costco, again, for the win, more than pasta. I think this is lentils, actually. High protein, gluten-free, vegan pasta. So in a serving, which is 85 grams, there's 19 grams of protein in here. I have this probably once a day. If I don't have this for dinner, I normally will make this up and have it for my lunch. It's delicious. Protein pasta, Costco. Protein bread, Country Harvest, they have protein bread. They used to have 9 grams of protein in a slice, and then for whatever crazy ass reason, they decided to drop it down to 6 grams. It's still the highest protein bread that I can find on the market, but I mean, if you have a peanut butter and jam sandwich, which I have almost every day because I'm a kid at heart and I love PB&Js, that's 12 grams of protein in just your bread, not including the amount that you get from your peanut butter. So it's probably closer to about 18 grams of protein for a meal. Again, that's a pretty good amount of protein for a meal. Egg whites. I don't eat egg whites. These are Kyle's, but for my non-vegan friends, egg whites are a really good option. What I like to do with egg whites, just because, you know, if you don't have a lot of fats to play with, having whole eggs, they do have higher amounts of fat in them. So what I like to do with egg whites when I was eating them is I will mix them up in some vanilla protein powder. You make a delicious protein crepe, and then you put on a little bit of peanut butter or cookie butter and strawberries and Walden Farm syrup, and oh my god, it is so good. Next item that I eat almost every single day, edamame. Really great source of protein, and they're delicious. I mean, you just mix this up with some basmati rice, add a little bit of veggies in there, you're good to go. Delicious. And last but not least, if you guys haven't tried this yet, even for my non-vegetarian, non-vegan friends, I highly recommend you get on the Beyond Burger train. So good, so delicious, really great option, very high in fat, but that's okay. 20 grams of protein in 1 patty, and it tastes just like a burger. It's absolutely amazing. They have Beyond Sausage now, Beyond Ground Beef, I think. It hasn't hit the stores yet, but I'm excited to try it, and if they're any good as these are, I'm sure it'll be just as good, so I can make some tacos, and it's gonna be great. Quickly actually show you guys how I will enter my protein powder into my phone so it allows me to have more than 1 scoop, so I can prioritize how much protein powder I want to consume during the day to make sure I am accurate with my targets. So you are gonna go to my Macros Plus or whatever app you use. Some probably use MyFitnessPal. which is fine, no judgment. I will forgive you, don't you worry. All right, so going over to my Macros Plus, if you add your custom food, actually let's see if the barcode scanner works on the Optimum Nutrition. Sometimes it does, sometimes you have to adjust it a little bit. Oh look, it's already doing that for you. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do it the old-fashioned way. So add custom food, what I'm doing is I am matching the back of the label, and then the serving size I'm going to change to the amount of grams that it has per 1 scoop in the back of the label. So 31 grams. And then typically I will leave the calories blank just because there's always a little bit of an inherent error just for fillers and stuff like that in foods. So I'll just add the macronutrients. So we have 1 gram of fat. Carbs, we have 2 grams. I keep track of my fiber, and there is none. Sugar, don't really care about. And protein, we have 24 grams. So if you match the back of the label, and then if you hit save, I meant O-N. If you hit save, it's gonna convert it. Yes, let's add it now. See how it converted it to 1 gram, and the numbers that I have on there don't agree anymore to the back of the label? Well, if I touch the 1 gram and change it to 31, that's the amount on the back of the label. So what this does, it allows me to weigh out more protein powder. So if I'm short, say I have 30 grams of protein left over, 24 grams in 1 scoop isn't enough for me to be accurate. So I'm gonna play with this number until I get 31 grams. So I'm gonna weigh out 40 grams instead of 31 grams in order for me to hit my protein targets. So I do that with a bunch of options, not just my protein powder. I will do that with, what do I do that with? Oats, Kodiak cakes, pasta, everything like that, that, you know, you can make an adjustment for to be much more accurate. So yeah, those are my go-to options. I consume 130 to 140 grams of protein a day without eating meat. So, I mean, it's tough. Protein isn't the most fun macronutrient to consume. You know, it's much more tasty and palatable to have carbs and fats. But at the end of the day, like I previously mentioned at the beginning of the video, having protein, regardless of your goals, is so important. You have to be aware and make smart choices and really make sure that you are still prioritizing your protein targets. All right, I hope this was helpful, you guys. If you have any questions, if you have any of your own high protein options that you would like to share, comment, share them down below. Let's get our protein targets up there. Thanks, you guys. Have a good day.